Welcome back to our final day and a little bit of a bonus episode on our Kids Can Quilt series. And we've had so much fun doing that with you this week, and we hope that you've enjoyed it and have learned something and are having a fun time putting your quilt top together. Don't worry if you're not done yet. These videos aren't going to go anywhere. So go ahead and work on it as you have the time, put it together, come back to the next video when you're ready for it, and they will still be here waiting for you. So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about quilting the quilt, because a quilt top doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you can't use it. So you need to actually get it finished. So we're going to give you a couple of easy ways that you can finish it yourself. If you have someone else that already does quilt and they're willing to quilt it up for you, that's an option as well. But if you want to finish it up yourself, we're going to show you a couple of different ways that you can do that and some of the things that you're going to need. So first off, you're going to have your quilt top. And this quilt top is going to be, I think I measured it out roughly about 34 by 53 inches. Might be 38, but somewhere in there. So what you're going to be able to do is you're actually going to be able to get, for the backing, you need a back fabric, and you're going to be able to use just one width of fabric. And you're going to want about 1 2/3 yard. So when you go and ask for it, or when you order your fabric, or if you have some, ask for 1 2/3 yard, and you're going to get a nice big piece like this. It can be anything you want. It can match the front really nicely. It cannot match the front, whatever you want, however you want that to work. Then you're also going to need a batting, and the same thing, this is called a baby size batting, and it's 45 by 60 inches. So this is enough for you to do your quilt top the size that we made it. So this is a great way to go ahead and buy a packaged batting to put it together. So these are the things you're going to need to finish to do the quilting for your quilt top. So what actually makes a quilt, if you look up the definition, is it is fabric held together with a batting or some sort of an inner lining, and it's all held together with thread. So that's what this part of it does, is it actually turns your top into a full quilt. And how you're going to want to do this is we're just going to layer them out. So go ahead and start with your back, and you want to spread it out as flat as you possibly can. So find a nice big surface, use your dining room table, use the floor, whatever you need, and spread it out as flat as you can get it. Then you're going to take your batting. If you have the package batting like I showed you, it's going to be the size that you want pretty much, and you're going to lay it on top. Now, if you're wondering if there's a right or wrong way to do this, make sure that if you have a printed backing, that you've got the print side down so that the wrong side is facing up, because this is what's going to be on the inside of your quilt. So we want to make sure that the right side shows. Then take your batting, and batting can have a right and a wrong side too. If you look really closely, you're going to see that there are little pokies or little felt balls on the back of the batting, and that's going to go towards the ground. And we're going to lay this on there, and we're going to center it on the batting. You're probably going to hopefully not be hanging off the edge of a table when you're doing this, so it will be easier for you to kind of lay that out and then just flatten it out as much as you can all around the batting. Then we're going to take our quilt top and do the same thing. Just center it on top of the batting and the backing, the right side facing up this time, of course, and making sure that you have a little bit of room so that you're not running off an edge anywhere. Now you have all 3 of your layers together and ready to go. If you're going to, what we want to do now is we want to secure them. So we're going to actually go ahead and use some safety pins to do that. So to safety pin this together, and you're probably going to want a little bit bigger safety pins than this. This is just what I could find, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. But you're just going to go ahead and just pin through all 3 layers. So if you look on the back, you can see the safety pin on the back of it as well. So pin through all 3 layers, and then you're just going to put another one. You could probably even get away with just doing like 1 inside each of the big triangles. That's going to give you each of the big squares. They're not triangles. Math class, right? Okay, so put 1 in each, and that's going to give you a fairly decent spacing, and it's going to hold all the 3 layers together so that as you're finishing it and as you're quilting it, they're not going to move. It's going to help so you don't get wrinkles and stuff on the back. And you're just going to go around and do that on all over the quilt top. I'm going to put 1 more here to hold it down. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can finish it. One thing you can do, not that one. One thing you can do is you can take it over to your sewing machine now at this point, and you can just sew straight lines. And they don't have to be perfectly straight. They can be a little bit wavy. They can go back and forth. It doesn't really matter. Just put it down there, sew from one end to the next. Go another inch, sew one from one end to the next. And that's going to be a fairly quick and easy way to get it quilted. Another way that you can do it is you can actually hand tie it. So I have 2 things here to show you. I've got a thread cotton thread, and I have an actual yarn. Either of these is going to work just fine. If you have yarn, you're going to need a little bit of a bigger needle. This one might be a little bit bigger than you need, but just make sure that it's big enough that you can fit your thread through your needle here. If you have thread, you know, you're going to need a smaller needle. You're going to use both of them exactly the same way. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of thread off of here, and I'm going to cut it. As far as the color goes, it doesn't really matter. I just happen to have a red thread that matches perfectly, so I thought that would be a fantastic option to use, but you can match any one that you want, any of the colors in their fabric and the fabrics that you picked. So let me go ahead and get this threaded really fast. I actually think I have a needle threader, but I would have to find it. Okay. Then I'm going to pull it down all the way to the end so that these line up. Then I'm just going to pick, okay, how often do I want to tie this? And you probably want to keep them within about 3 to 4 inches. So I might do one in the center of, probably just do it in the center of every single piece. Is going to give me one in the center of every single piece is going to make sure that I have enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the end. I'm going to start right here though so you can see me today, but I normally start on the end, and you're going to just go down and pull it so you have, you know, a couple inches left out the top, and you're going to come right up this top. And this one is a nice way to do it because you don't have to worry about being able to push your quilt through the sewing machine, which can be hard. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just tie it in a double knot. Super easy, and it gets the job done. From there, don't cut it yet. I'm actually going to go to my next section and just go right down in the center of that section. And this one you can just pull it till there is, until it's kind of tight, just flat along your quilt top. Come up, kind of close to that. And the same thing, actually I'm just going to keep going at this point. We're going to cut it, and I'm going to show you how you can tie them all at the end. Go down in this square so that it's kind of flat. Come up. I'm going to do one more to show you this square really quick. Go down in the center of this square and come up in this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my thread tail off, and I would do as many as I could fit on my thread. You don't have to just do one block at a time. And then you're going to cut in the middle of all of these, and then just do the same thing. Tie a double knot on all of them. 1 and 2. 1 and 2, and then the last one. 1 and 2. Then you can trim those up as you want to, and that's going to hold your quilt top together and make it so that you could actually use it. There is one more step you actually have to do after you have your quilt before you can use it, and that is going to be binding it. And binding is actually probably the hardest kind of step of the process, just because there's a lot of moving the quilt and kind of making the quilt do what you want it to do. So if you are a little bit older and you want to try your hand at binding, we definitely encourage that. We already have a video on that, so I'm going to go ahead and link that below so you can see the instructions for that. If you are a little bit younger, this is probably a great opportunity to enlist your mom or dad or grandma or aunt or whoever is helping you quilt to finish that out for you. So go ahead and hand it to them, give them a big hug, and ask them to finish your quilt so that you can use it. Then it's ready to go and you are done. We really hope that you've had a fun week with us and that this gives you some things to do and some ways to kind of spend your time over the next few weeks. And if you have any questions at all throughout the process or later on down the road, definitely let us know. We are here to help, and we want to see you be successful. And if you want to share your finished quilts with us, we would love to see them. So if you are posting them on social media, just tag us. If you don't do social media, you can definitely send us an email as well, so that we can make sure that we get to see those. We would love to see them. So we will see you next time. Bye.